What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me for another episode of Let's Nerd with Dragon Age Origins. I'm your host, Jay Dumont, aka FLUENT. Alright, so in the last one, we arrived in the city of Ostagar. And, you know what? I'm not sure what we're supposed to do here. Maybe cross this bridge. We unfortunately couldn't find Tamlin. Doesn't mean necessarily he's dead, but there goes Duncan. Let's check the journal. You've arrived at the King's camp just outside the Korkari wilds in the ruin known as Ostagar. Duncan has told you when you're ready to begin joining, you should seek out the Grey Warden named Alistair somewhere in camp. Alright, we have some codex entries to read. Did we look at Genlock? These are the most common darkspawn in the underground. Stocky and tough, Genlocks are notoriously difficult to kill even by magic. In any group of Genlocks, there's usually one who is dominant. As the tallest, strongest, and smartest of their kind, Alphas serve as a sort of commander, directing or bullying the others in combat. Emissaries, the most intelligent of the Alphas, become gifted sorcerers with many abilities akin to blood magic. These are the emissaries, and they usually only appear during a blight. So are we smack dab in the middle of a blight? The Chant of Light, the Blight. No matter their power, their triumphs, the mage lords of Teventer were men, and doomed to die. Then a voice whispered within their hearts, "Shall you surrender your power to time like the beasts of the fields? You are the lords of the earth. Go forth to claim the empty throne of heaven and be gods." In secret they worked, magic upon magic, all their power and all their vanity. They turned against the veil until at last it gave way. Above them a river of light, before them the throne of heaven, waiting. Beneath their feet the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. But when they took a single step toward the empty throne, a great voice cried out, shaking the very foundations of heaven and earth. "And so is the golden city blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world." Violently were they cast down, for no mortal may walk bodily in the realm of dreams, bearing the mark of their crime. Bodies so maimed and distorted that none should see them and know them for men. Deep into the earth they fled away from the light. In darkness eternal they searched for those who would goad them on, till at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumont. Their taint twisted even the false god, and the Whisperer awoke at last in pain and horror, and led them to wreak havoc upon all nations of the world, the first blight. Now I know there's something here. No? Characters. Logan MacTier. It takes more than legends to win a battle. Logain was born a farmer during a time when his country was under foreign occupation. When he was still a boy, he joined the resistance, where his considerable tactical genius quickly became apparent. He became close friends with Prince Merrick, the last true heir to the Ferelden throne, and together they led the rebels to drive out the forces of the Orlesian Empire. Merrick raised his friend to the nobility, and Logain is now more a symbol than a man. He represents the Ferelden ideals of hard work and independence. Aha, there were some down here. The Grey Wardens. The first blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god has risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Teventer were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishaupt Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lifetimes except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishaupt, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer, they were Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in numbers as well as reputation. Finally, in the year of 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the Archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all the armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumat and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazakel, Toth, Andorral, Razakael, Lusicon, and Erthemiel. 4 had risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch throughout the ages, well aware that the peace is fleeting, and that their war continues until the last dragon gods is gone. Last of the dragon gods, the Korkari Wilds. It is said, in the midst of the Black Age, when werewolves stalked the lands of Ferelden in numbers, they kept every farmholder indoors and a hound on every doorstep. A powerful Arl of the Alamari people stood and declared that he would put an end to the threat. His Arling stood on the border of the Dark Forest on the southern border of the Ferelden Valley, and he claimed that the werewolves used the forest to launch their midnight assaults on humanity. For 20 years, this Arl led an army of warriors and hounds deep into the forest. In his hunt for the werewolves, he slew not only every wolf he came upon, but also every member of the chastened wilder folk. Any one of them, he said, could harbor a demon inside and thus be a werewolf in disguise. For 20 years, the forest rang with screams and the rivers ran red. The tales say that an old chastened woman found her sons all dead at the Arl's blades. She pulled one of those very blades from one son's heart and plunged it into her own chest, cursing the Arl's name as she did so. Where her blood touched the ground, a mist began to rise. It spread and spread until it was everywhere in the forest. The Arl's army became lost, and it is said that they died there. Others say they wander still. The ruins of his Arling stand to this day, filled with the ghosts of women waiting eternally for their husbands to return. The forest of the legend is, of course, the Korkari Wilds. There are as many legends about the great southern forest as there are shadows, or so the saying goes. The chastened wilder folk had made their home there since mankind first came to these lands, and the wild lands spread as far into the south as anyone has ventured. Beyond the mists are vast tracts of snow, white-capped mountains, and entire fields of ice. It is a land too cold for mankind to survive, yet the chastened eke out an existence even there, and they tell of horrors beyond the wilds that the lowland folk would not begin to comprehend. To most, Ferelden simply ends with the Korkari Wilds. There is nothing beyond. The wilds is the land of great trees, wet marshes, and dangerous monsters. What more need be said? That was by Mother Alis, a Chantry scholar. Darkspawn. Those who had sought to claim heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men but monsters. Threnodies 12:1. Sin was the midwife that ushered the Darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds, for they were not alone. No one knows where the Darkspawn come from. A dark mockery of men in the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as a plague of locusts will. In raids, they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads, but most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems Darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly, we know that evil has no trouble perpetuating itself. The last blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orlais and east into the free marches. The plagues spread as far as Ferelden, but with withering and twisting of the land stopping well beyond our borders. Here, Darkspawn had never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Anderfells, they say Darkspawn haunt the hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villages, a constant threat. By Sister Petrine, Chantry scholar. Alright.
Hail, you must be the Grey Warden recruit that Duncan brought.
I am indeed.
We stand here in the night, and we conquer.
Wynn,
Greetings,
hello.
young man. You are Duncan's newest recruit, are you not? He's not a man easily impressed. You should be proud. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Wynne, one of the mages summoned by the king.
I am Matthias.
Well met, and good luck to you on the battlefield. To us all, in fact.
Will you be fighting beside the king? No. King Caleb thinks the battle will go
The king
well.
must always seem confident. His behavior affects the troops' morale. He does seem to find his enthusiasm easily, though. Reminds me of a puppy. And I say that with both respect and affection. He is a fine man. To defeat the Darkspawn, we have to work together. It's not an idea everyone seems able to grasp.
Do you know much about
Some.
Darkspawn?
Do you? Do you know about the connection between them and the Fade, for example?
We call it the Beyond, but I know of no
Anytime
connection.
your spirit leaves your earthly body, whether it's to dream or to die, it passes into the realm we call the Fade. It's home to many spirits, some benevolent, others far less so. At the heart of the Fade lies the Black City.
What's the Black
Some
City?
say the Black City was once the seat of the Maker. But when the mages from the Tevinter Imperium found a way into the city, it was tainted with their sin. That taint transformed those men, turning them into twisted reflections of their own hearts. And the Maker cast them back to the Earth, where they became the first Darkspawn. At least that's what the Chant of Light says.
Is
It
that
may
true?
be allegory, meant to teach us that our own evil causes human suffering. Or it may be true. It is as good an explanation as any for now.
At least it's something
Yes,
to ponder.
occasionally it's wise to contemplate one's actions. But I'm certain Duncan has more for you to do than talk to me.
Die in this battle, and when you stand before the king.
So, any last wishes I can help fulfill before you head into battle? Life is fleeting, you know.
As you say.
That pretty face could be decorating some
take it.
Darkspawn spear this time tomorrow. Shall I take that quiet glare as a no? Ah, well, too bad. Well,
Damn it.
you're not what I thought you'd be.
What did you
Not
think
an
I'd
elf.
be?
Yep, here you are. The name's Daveth. It's about bloody time you came along. I was beginning to think they'd cooked this ritual up just for our benefit.
What do you know about this ritual? Isn't that a little paranoid?
That depends on what kind of life you've led. Me, I'm perfectly willing to accept that this joining is some kind of punishment. I happened to be sneaking around camp last night, see, and I heard a couple of Grey Wardens talking. So, I listened in for a bit. I'm thinking they plan to send us into the wilds.
The wilds?
We're right on the northern edge of the Kukari Wilds here, miles and miles of savage country. My home village isn't far, and I grew up on tales about the wilds. Even been in there a few times. Scary place.
Why would they send us into the forest?
Sounds like some kind of test. Maybe we'll hunt us a souvenir or two. It's all too secretive for me. Makes my nose twitch. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like we have a choice.
I'll watch your back
I
if you watch
suppose I
mine.
could do that. Anyway, I expect it's time to get back to Duncan. That's where I'll be if you need me for anything.
This isn't good. I'd hate to waste such a promising member of the breed. Are you the new warden? I could use some help.
What's
This is
the
a
problem?
Mabari. Smart breed and strong. His owner died in the last battle, and the poor hound swallowed darkspawn blood. I have medicine that might help, but I need him muzzled first. Go in
I'll
the
give it a
pen
shot.
and smell you. We'll know right away if he'll respond. Let's hope this works. I'd really hate to have to put him down.
The dog looks up at you respectfully, backing down from his aggressive stance. You can see intelligence in his eyes as well as a great deal of pain. The animal is very ill. Look at the muzzle on the dog. The Mabari growls weakly but does not challenge you.
Well
After you are done, he
Now I
whispers
can treat
pointedly.
the dog properly, poor
Whimpers.
fella. Come to think of it, are you heading into the wilds anytime soon?
I
There's a
might be.
particular
Why?
herb I could use to improve the dog's chances. It's a flower that grows in the swamps here, if I remember. If you happen across it, I could use it. It's very distinctive, all white, with a blood-red centre.
Where in the wilds
It
would I
usually
find this
grows
flower?
in dead wood that collects at the edge of ground pools. Should be plenty this time of year.
See if I can find one.
In the meantime, I'll begin treating our poor friend.
Watch over Ferelden, the homeland of Holy Andraste. Keep her people safe from the dark. In the name of Andraste, I bless you today. May you find favor in the Maker's eyes. So let it be.
Jory.
Greetings.
What's
You
up?
must be the third recruit we've heard about. Sir Jory
Yes,
is
I'm
my name.
Matthias.
I hail from Redcliffe, where I served as knight under the command of our layman. I wasn't aware elves could join the Grey Wardens. Those camped in the valley are all human. No, clearly the Grey
problem with
Wardens
that?
pick their recruits on their merits. I hope we're both lucky enough to eventually join the Wardens. Is it not thrilling to be given that chance? I
Yes,
fought
I'm
hard to
looking
get
forward
here.
to it.
Impressing Duncan was not easy. Tell me, has anyone told you what this joining ritual entails?
Tabith said we
I
might
never
be
heard
going
of
into
such a
the
ritual.
wilds.
I had no idea there were more tests after getting recruited. I suppose since you're finally here, I'd best get back to Duncan. I shall see you there.
Sorry, the main army camp is off limits for you right now.
This chest isn't.
Someone finally comes and talks to the lone prisoner. I don't suppose you've come to sentence me.
You haven't
No.
been sentenced?
They put someone like me in a cage until someone important has time to decide what to do with me. I don't suppose you have a bit of kindness in you. All I want is food and water. They haven't fed me since I was locked up and I'm starving. Just ask my guard.
Let's see what I can do.
He's still got some dinner. I saw him put it in his coat.
Lucky dog. You Grey Wardens get to ride with the king while I'm left with the drudgery of guarding this deserter. They should have just hanged him. Put his head on a pike as an example. Don't
I had a
expect it
chat
was
with
an
him, actually.
enlightening conversation.
He asked
Did he
for some
now?
food and water.
Since nobody sends me nothing to feed him with, the only way we'll get that is if I give him mine.
So you missed one meal. This man could be
All
hanged
right,
soon.
all right. I guess the poor fella could stand to have one meal in his belly before he hangs. Don't know why you care. I had nothing to do with it, though. If anyone asks why he's burping, I'm gonna say it was you. Just so you know.
So? Brought me some food, have you? I'm so hungry I could faint dead away.
Here's some
Much
food.
obliged. You're a kind soul, you are. May Andraste herself rain blessings upon you.
Hush, my dear. You'll only open your wounds if you continue.
Good soldier.
Look carefully, men. This wretched thing is a darkspawn. They're strong, cunning, and smart. But don't listen to those old wives' tales. They can be killed. Stick them with your sword enough, and they go down. Their blood is black as sin and poisonous. Don't even touch it. You get tainted with that blood, and you may as well slit your throat. We've lost many dogs already. Had to muzzle them to keep them from biting. It's a long and painful way to die. Well, don't touch the carcass. We'll be burning it so it doesn't infect it.
Sack.
The all before me is darkness. We will guide.
Very well.
My faithful.
Can I use those boots? No.
This is supposed to be the battle that sends these darkspawn back underground. You believe that?
I don't know what to believe. We've won every battle, but there's more of them each time.
Makes you wonder if them Grey Wardens are right.
I don't want to think about that.
Sounds like the perfect time to get drunk, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
There are lots of darkspawn of different kinds. We're getting reports of things we've never even heard of. Our short friend here, for instance, is something called a general. But we've seen others much larger. We don't know where these new darkspawn are coming from, or what they can do. All I can say is to use caution. There aren't any we've seen that won't die once they bleed enough.
Interesting.
You approach the tent of Terran
Okay,
Logging.
let's go.
State your business. He's inside.
Terran
but
inside?
I
What
don't
is he
think it's
doing?
my place to discuss his activity.
Surely you can tell me a little about him. I'd like an audience with the Terran,
I
please.
suppose you have a message for him. Hold on then.
Yes, what is it? Oh, you're Duncan's new Grey Warden, I assume. You impressed His
Not a Grey
Majesty
Warden yet.
nonetheless. Could not contain his excitement over your meeting. Kaelin's fascination with the Wardens goes beyond the ordinary. Are you aware his father brought your order back to Ferelden? Marek
No, I didn't know
respected the
that.
Grey Wardens. They have an honored place in the hearts of our people. But Marek would have understood that it takes more than legends to win a battle. That's not an argument I'll repeat here. I see you're a Dalish. Marek knew a Dalish elf once. Never saw an equal with the bow before or since. I don't suppose you'll be riding into the thick of battle with the rest of your fellows, will you? If Kaelin has his way,
I don't know.
he will. Now I must return to my task. Pray that our king proves amenable to wisdom, if you're the praying sort. He is Marek's
you don't
son,
seem very
the
fond
leader
of
of
him.
my beloved Ferelden, and a very young man. I try to keep that in mind, as should you.
King Mark Theron.
Greetings. King Kaelin is not in his tent right now. I suppose I do.
Tell me about
Though
the
he's spending
king. You
most
must
of
see
his
him a
time with the
lot.
Grey Wardens. He rides with them wherever they go, in fact. Teyrn Loghain sees the king whenever he can and argues with him over coming battles, but the king just waves him off. The king wants to end the Blight with a single huge battle the bards will sing of for centuries. Do you think that's possible? That's how the Teyrn feels.
We'll see in the
He'll
coming
do what
battle.
the king wants in the end, though. The king thought it was funny that Teyrn called him reckless, and they fought about the queen.
The queen?
To the Teyrn's daughter.
I didn't know
no less.
Galen was
He
married.
wasn't happy about something she did or the king did, I'm not sure. I probably shouldn't discuss it. As you wish.
I should go.
I'm sorry, but the mages must not be interrupted.
Soldiers of Ferelden, my sisters and gentlefolk, we stand here on the eve of battle. Let us consider the evil before us. In their pride, the mages of the ancient Tevinter Imperium sought to open a portal into the heavenly Golden City itself. They tainted it with their sin, and they were cast back into our world as darkspawn. They are man's sins made flesh, an evil that spreads like an illness across our land. To face them, we must first face the evil within ourselves. Let us bow our heads and beg the Maker's forgiveness. Let us not be proud, so we may take courage against the darkness.
This game reminds me of Risen a bit.
I do
Not in
have
the
time to
tone or
speak,
anything,
cousin.
but
Thank you.
just in terms of how it's laid out. Quartermaster.
You there, elf. Where's my armor? And why you dress so preposterously? You're...
Because I'm here to become a Grey Warden?
Yes, of course. Please, forgive my rudeness. There are so many elves running about, and I've been waiting for... It's simply been so hectic. I never thought... But please, pardon my terrible manners. I'm just the quartermaster, a simple man. No one special.
Perhaps you should treat your servants more kindly.
Right. Did you come for some supplies, perhaps? Arms and armor, for the most part.
What kind of supplies do you
It's for
have?
the King's men, but you Grey Wardens can buy what you need for a modest price. I also have some goods on the side I can provide. Strictly off the record, of course. To keep morale up, you understand. So long as you keep it quiet.
Let me see your other goods. Wow, this longbow is nice. Let's sell some stuff here. Darkspawn War X. Ash Warrior X. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, I'll take the longbow. Oh, 73? I can afford that. Seems a pretty good deal.
Hello again.
I want
Is
to
there
see your
something you
regular
need?
goods, bro.
Some supplies, perhaps? Let me know what you'd like.
Let's see what you have. Studded helmet. Buy that. Oh, I can't afford that. I can if I sell the chainmail. Short bow. And the Ash Warrior axe. Increases carry weight by 10. Cool.
That course of
Tranquil.
action is inadvisable. Welcome, young man. I am one of the Tranquil, my friend.
Who are you?
I am of the Circle of Magi. But instead of casting spells and reading tomes, I spend my time enchanting. It is a time-consuming process, but invaluable. Enchantment provides the Circle its wealth. Certainly we would not get by on charity. It is the practice of folding magical lyrium into items first practiced by the dwarves. The Tranquil have learned their runes, and we use them to apply a variety of magical effects. We create the glow lights, as well as the magic staff, or the flaming blade. The irony, perhaps, is that it is our very disconnection to our former talents that allows the Tranquil to work with lyrium so. A true mage could not. Runes exist that hold the power of the elements that increase strength or swiftness. Almost any spell can be given permanency, given enough skill and lyrium. Naturally, the greater the power required, the more expensive the rune will become to create. True power comes with a price, as we know only too well. Allow me to put it this way.
Speak strangely, why is that?
Do you know why those with magical talent are feared? Those with magical talent attract demons and spirits. We can be possessed easily, and thus become horrors known as abominations. Even those with minor talents attract hungry spirits. Anyone with the power may learn blood magic from these demons. Hence, we are considered dangerous. This is our curse. Thus, I was made tranquil, stripped of emotions and talent. I am no longer dangerous. Our forehead is branded with magic, which stills our talent and mind. The process is irreversible as far as I am aware. Of course. What may I assist you with?
Anything else?
Goodbye.
There should go. Tranquil. Alright, so where is Alistair?
What is it now?
Right there.
Haven't Grey Wardens asked more than enough of the Circle?
I simply came to deliver a message from the revered mother, Sir Mage. She desires your presence.
What her reverence desires is of no concern to me. I am busy helping the Grey Wardens, by the King's orders, I might add.
Should I have asked her to write a note?
Tell her I will not be harassed in this manner.
Yes, I was harassing you by delivering a message.
Your glibness does you no credit.
Here I thought we were getting along so well. I was even going to name one of my children after you. The grumpy one.
Enough. I will speak to the woman if I must. Get out of my way, fool.
You know, one good thing about the Blight is how it brings people together. It's like a party. We can all stand in a circle and hold hands. That would give the Darkspawn something to think about. Wait, we haven't met, have we? I don't suppose you happen to be another mage? Hardly. I'd just like to know my chances of being turned into a toad at any given moment. Wait, I do know who you are. You're Duncan's new recruit, the Dalish. I should have recognized you right away. I apologize. Duncan sent word.
How could you recognize me?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Alistair, the new Grey Warden. Though I guess you knew that. As the junior member of the Order, I'll be accompanying you when you prepare for the joining. Right.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Matthias.
So I'm curious. Have you ever actually encountered Darkspawn before? I've only fought them once up close.
Yes, just
and that
recently.
was before the battles here started, which Duncan has kept me out of so far. Tell me, did you find them as monstrous as I did? You'll be at an advantage.
I wasn't afraid. They die
Most
like any
new
other
recruits
creature.
have never even seen Darkspawn. Anyhow, whenever you're ready, let's get back to Duncan. I imagine he's eager to get things started. With the mage,
Argument I saw, what was
the
it
circle
about?
is here at the King's request, and the Chantry doesn't like that one bit. They just love letting mages know how unwelcome they are, which puts me in a bit of an awkward position. I was once a Templar. Not that that's all Templars do.
You were a mage hunter?
Yes. The Chantry raised me until Duncan recruited me 6 months ago. I'm sure the revered mother meant it as an insult, sending me as her messenger, and the mage picked right up on that. I never would have agreed to deliver it, but Duncan says we're all to cooperate and get along. Apparently they didn't get the same speech. Davith and Sir Jory are here in the camp.
What about the other recruits?
Have you met them? That makes things easy then. They'll both be back with Duncan by now. You do? Huh. That's
I look forward to traveling
If you have
with
any
you.
questions, let me know. Otherwise, lead on.
When you're not controlling them, party members act according to the tactics you set. Select Alistair by left-clicking him or his portrait. Now open the tactics screen by clicking the highlighted icon. You can use the conditional tactic slots to design custom behavior for each character, or simply select preset tactics. Change Alistair's preset to Defender. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
As you say.
Scale armor and some runes. Can he wear the scale armor? It's not as good as his split mail. Yeah. Alright. Nothing too interesting there. Oh, how do I use these runes? Can I just use them? Step away from that chest, servant. Alright, let's do the joining ritual.
You found Alistair, did you? Good. I'll assume you're ready to begin preparations. Assuming, of course, that you're quite finished riling up mages, Alistair.
What can I say? The revered mother ambushed me. The way she wields guilt, they should stick her in the army.
She forced you to sass the mage, did she? We cannot afford to antagonize anyone, Alistair. We don't need to give anyone more ammunition against us.
You're right, Duncan. I apologize.
Now then, since you're all here, we can begin. You four will be heading into the Kokari Wilds to perform 2 tasks. The first is to obtain 3 vials of darkspawn blood, 1 for each recruit. For the joining itself,
What do we need darkspawn blood for?
Returned. There was once a Grey Warden archive in the wilds,
And what's the second
abandoned long
task?
ago when we could no longer afford to maintain such remote outposts. It has recently come to our attention that some scrolls have been left behind, magically sealed to protect them. Alistair, I want you to retrieve these scrolls if you can. Old treaties, if you're curious. Promises of support made to the Grey Wardens long ago. They were once considered only formalities. With so many having forgotten their commitments to us, I suspect it may be a good idea to have something to remind them with. It will be an overgrown ruin by now.
Oh, we find this
chest
archive.
should remain intact. Alistair will guide you to the area you need to search. Watch over your charges, Alistair.
Find the archive and 3 vials of blood. Understood.
Safely.
We will.
Then may the Maker watch over your path. I will see you when you return.
Alright.
Elf, what's your name?
So in the next one we're gonna find the scrolls and the blood.
Tell Turnlow Gain that the war party's ready to begin scouting. We'll send word if we find anything amiss.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
And I'm going to read these codex entries and end the episode. King Merrick Theron. It is difficult to separate the man from the myth. The last survivor of the bloodline of King Calenhad, the Silver Knight, Merrick drove the Orlesian forces from Ferelden's borders, reclaimed the throne, and freed our people from foreign tyranny, all true and all larger than life. He was born in hiding near Cathal's crossing to the rebel queen Mora, and grew up in the rebel camps, an outlaw in his own country. When the rebel queen died, Merrick inherited her homeless nobles, malcontents, and displaced freeholders, and with the aid of his friend Logain MacTyr, built them into an army. After the pivotal battle of River Dane, Merrick took the throne. He married Rowan, daughter of Rendorn Guerin, Jarl of Redcliffe, and began the long, slow process of rebuilding everything Orlais had demolished during 70 years of occupation. The Fade. The study of the Fade is as old as humankind. For so long as men have dreamed, we have walked its twisting paths, sometimes catching a glimpse of the city at its heart, always as close as our own thoughts, but impossibly separated from our world. The Tevinter Imperium once spent vast fortunes of gold, lyrium, and human slaves in an effort to map the terrain of the Fade, an ultimately futile endeavor. Although portions of it belong to powerful spirits, all the Fade is in constant flux. The Imperians succeeded in finding the disparate and ever-shifting realms of a dozen demon lords, as well as cataloging a few hundred types of spirits before they were forced to abandon the project. The relationship of dreamers to the Fade is complex. Even when entering the Fade through the use of lyrium, mortals are not able to control or affect it. The spirits who dwell there, however, can, and as the Chantry teaches us, the great flaw of the spirits is that they have neither imagination nor ambition. They create what they see through their sleeping visitors, building elaborate copies of our cities, people, and events, which, like the reflections in a mirror, ultimately lack context or life of their own. Even the most powerful demons merely plagiarize the worst thoughts and fears of mortals and build their realms with no other ambition than to taste life. From Tranquility and the Role of the Fade in Human Culture by First Enchanter, Josephus. The Tranquil are the least understood but most visible members of the Circle. Every city of respectable size boasts a circle of Magi shop, and every one of these shops is run by a Tranquil proprietor. The name is a misnomer, for they are not tranquil at all, rather they are like inanimate objects that speak. If a table wished to sell you an enchanted penknife, it could pass as one of these people. Their eyes are expressionless, their voices monotone. Incomparable craftsmen they might be, but they are hardly the sort of mages to put ordinary folk at ease. Alright, I'll read the other two in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Next time,